All right, let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we're tearing open a tactical after-action report to dissect what is, frankly, one of the most legendary and supposedly impossible underdog victories in the entire history of the Corp Wars. We're going to break down exactly how a severely outgunned squad managed to completely rewrite the rules of mechanized combat in just a few agonizingly tense minutes. So let's get into it. We're dropping right down into the dust-choked trenches of a ruined, abandoned city. Picture the wind howling through these warped skeletal towers. And right there, on a cracked ferroconcrete ridge, a single split-second tactical decision by a guy named Commander Kaido meant the difference between his squad getting completely vaporized and legendary survival. Thunder God's vengeance. To really grasp how he pulled this off, we've got to look at his primary lifeline. 2,210,000. Now, that massive number, that is not a damage output. That is the colossal hit point pool of the Aegis energy shield. This energy barrier was literally Commander Kaido's absolute last lifeline against just overwhelming odds. But, to actually wield a shield that strong, he had to make a pretty terrifying compromise. Section 1. The Immortal Fortress. Staring down a rapidly advancing 5-to-1 mismatch, Kaito anchors his massive four-legged Raijin mech, the Oinambi, right onto that cracked ridge. Now, its base health sits at 240,000 HP, which is solid, sure, but it is highly vulnerable to the concentrated fire from the 3 heavy and 2 medium mechs charging right at him. So, to survive the sheer volume of fire coming his way, he trades that base vulnerability for an impenetrable 2 million HP energy bubble. And this brings us to Fortress Mode. By activating this stance, Kaido makes a huge tactical trade-off. He completely disables his own movement. He essentially becomes a stationary statue out there on the battlefield. But in return, he gets a massive 30% boost to his weapon damage and pops that colossal frontal Aegis shield. He turns himself into a high-damage immortal wall. He is the ultimate anchor. Section 2. Surviving the First Wave. The engagement kicks off violently. A heavily armored DSC Galabai charges straight up the center of Kaido's defensive line, its own energy shields flared. But Kaido? He shows icy patience. He waits for the enemy mech to hit the exact 50-meter mark, literally the absolute edge of his shield's engagement zone. He murmurs, "Too slow, friend," and unleashes this blinding twin stream of kinetic energy from his Tempest cannons, instantly cracking the enemy's physical shields. But here's the thing. The enemy pilot is no rookie. Realizing Kaido's frontal Aegis is just way too strong to punch through, the Galabai pilot smartly executes a high-speed dash flanking Kaido's immobile chassis. The enemy pivots and unloads with Sonic Devastator shotguns directly into his exposed leg joint. Now, these weapons are terrifying because sonic damage completely bypasses the Aegis shield. It goes right through. The internal damage starts bleeding Kaido's base health incredibly fast. And remember, he can't move to protect himself. He is essentially a sitting duck. Just as Kaido's hull starts failing, his long-range specialist ally, Pilot Ren, executes a completely flawless tactical intervention. From a jagged high-ground perch, Ren activates his Jaeger mech's sniper mode. He fires twin Gauss kinetic railguns, completely shattering the Globabay's remaining defenses, and then immediately follows up with a kinetic cannon that literally cripples the enemy's dash engine. Boom! The flanker is stopped dead in its tracks, smoking and totally immobilized. With the enemy finally pinned down, Kaido pivots his massive Aegis shield, gets a lock, and fires his extreme hot points railguns. These are weapons designed to punch a hole through reality itself. 494,000. That is the jaw-dropping burst damage he delivers in a single, ungodly blast, straight into the compromised core of the enemy bot. The resulting impact doesn't just destroy the enemy machine. No, it completely vaporizes the torso with twin crimson lances of superheated plasma, collapsing its legs into nothing but white-hot slag. But this massive discharge comes with a terrible price. Kaido is now locked into a dreadful 10-second weapon reload cycle. He is completely disarmed, just as the true nightmare of this battle shows up. Section 3. Slaying the Arthur Titan. Out of nowhere, Pilot Ren detects a massive energy spike. It's a multi-story, heavy-class DSC Arthur Titan. The ticking clock tension Kaido endures here is just agonizing. As this massive bipedal tank lumbers toward him, literally shaking the earth, Kaido has to drop his shield and desperately shuffle his slow mech behind a concrete berm for cover. Just 1 second left on his reload, the colossal titan steps right into execution range and charges its shoulder-mounted anti-titan cannon. And then, right at 0 seconds, Kaido's weapons finally click ready. But being ready really isn't enough here. Kaido is facing the ultimate problem-solution scenario. The Arthur's massive physical shields will just absorb all of his standard fire, and its ultimate cannon will easily obliterate Kaido's Aegis shield, or just bypass it entirely with splash damage. A head-on fight? That's guaranteed death. So how on earth do you destroy a monstrous tank like this from the front? Well, Kaido takes a wildly calculated high-stakes gamble. He scans the Titan and finds a single structural vulnerability, the articulated left knee joint. It's this complex, unshielded array of hydraulics and power conduits, so Kaido aims his entire 494,000 HP plasma burst directly at this tiny weak point, hoping to shatter its structural integrity and interrupt that lethal cannon charge. He fires, and the massive blast violently tears the metal, buckling the Titan's leg and stunning it. Its main cannon wavers wildly off target, and this creates the perfect window for the chaotic entrance of their third squad mate over the radio. Guess who's coming, guys? Bjorn's coming. Charging in with his own Titan, Bjorn capitalizes on the stun, blasting the Arthur's energy reactor, and just melting its heavy shields down with acidic shotguns until the behemoth collapses. Section 4. Outsmarting the Lynx Pursuit. You'd think they could finally take a breath, right? Nope. The celebration is immediately cut short. Long-range radar pings show the DSC has dispatched a trio of highly lethal Lynx Pursuit bots. These are hunters specifically designed to execute battered survivors. We are looking at a terrifying mismatch. On one side, Kaito's Raijin, slow, anchored, relying on shields and long reloads. On the other side, the Lynx bots, incredibly agile, equipped with stealth cloaking, and armed with cryo-weapons designed specifically to freeze the joints of heavy mechs. Kaito's fortress is the absolute perfect prey for these fast, stealth-reliant assassins. But faced with this, the squad doesn't panic. They synergize. Ren acts as the early warning scout, tracking movement. Bjorn literally uses his Titan's massive bulk as a physical wall to soak up the freezing cryo damage, all while firing Vajra lightning to deny the enemy ground. But the masterstroke? That's Kaido. He shifts his depleted Aegis shield's energy to an inverse frequency, creating a localized EMP pulse. He uses his defensive shield as an offensive spotlight, completely stripping away the assassin's stealth. That allows Ren to snipe the lead bot, and the remaining Lynx bots quickly realize they're outmatched and retreat. Section 5. The Old Sky Bridge. Having routed the pursuit, the three pilots finally secure a temporary tactical pause at a critical choke point, the skeletal remains of the old Sky Bridge. It's easily defensible and too narrow for another Titan assault. But looking at their status here, we can see the severe physical toll this survival has taken. Each mech is operating at around a third of its optimal capacity. Kaito's Aegis is depleted and resting. Ren is standing guard, and Bjorn's massive Titan is literally smoking, its internal cooling fans failing like a dying beast. But this exhausted state buys them a fleeting 6 hours of peace. The sheer scale of this achievement cannot be overstated. Through brilliant tactical synergy, they repelled a 5-to-1 heavy assault, brought down a seemingly invincible Arthur Titan, and neutralized a specialized stealth team. By taking down 2 enemy Titans in 10 minutes, Kaido's crew has permanently altered their standing. They aren't just mercenaries anymore. They are now marked as a major, coordinated threat by the corporate powers. The battle is won, but the war rages on. By surviving the impossible, Kaido, Ren, and Bjorn have painted massive targets on their own backs. Which leaves us with this chilling thought. If this is what the corporations send for a routine patrol, just how long can this ingenious squad outthink and outgun the endless, escalating horrors of the corporate machine? Thanks for diving into this tactical breakdown with me today. Keep asking questions, and I'll see you next time.